will have the ultimate benefit to Texans of creating effectively tax relief. And I think beyond that tax relief will stimulate additional economic activity in the state of Texas as well. So just to kind of give you my broader view as to why I think it's important.
Well, I appreciate all of that. I mean, I still look. It still appears to me to be a solution in search of a problem. But you know, you mentioned the base would have been lower historically if we had applied this by several $1 billion. Is that correct?
Yes.
And therefore, we'd be in a better position now, I believe, is what you said.
Right. And that's
those of us on appropriations during this last session, I think, would have to argue with that, both Democrats and Republicans. We had many very difficult meetings struggling over how to fund basic services because of the limited revenue with which we had to work. So to think that we would be in a better position to pay for education and health care and roads and all the other things we've been struggling to pay for here, to think that we'd be in a better position with billions of dollars less it just makes no sense, I think, to most of us that would. I'm not speaking in anybody's behalf. I just know from the discussions we've had that we had many challenges coming up with the budget that we came up with within the constraints that we had. And if you look at over time and the LBB will be up here, so we'll hear from them, but at their GEAR report where they talk about the spending limit, and you look at adjustments over time from 82, 83, if I'm reading this correctly, what they said is that appropriations have actually decreased by 25.4% over that period of time when adjusted for population and inflation. How in the world can anybody think that that's kind of runaway spending? We have a conservative budget. And I would also suggest to you guys that no matter what you do here, you're in a position of being criticized for either having approved budgets that somehow were not conservative enough that we've approved in recent biennia, or if you support this, then you're actually saying that we need to. I'm trying to say this correctly. I'm sorry. You're saying I'm not even going to go there. Forget it. I won't even say this. It's just you're getting caught in the middle of something that makes no sense. It's making no sense. That's why I'm having a hard time even talking about it. We have no problem here. We have a conservative budget. We have 4 constitutional spending limits that are keeping us within a very limited space with which we can cover the basic needs of Texas. And I'll tell you a couple of other things I just want to point out for y'all to think about. We're already balancing this budget by using GRD that we're not appropriating for its intended purpose. We are using deferrals, we are underfunding Medicaid, and we are forcing local property taxpayers to cover the cost of public education. This upcoming budget by the amount of $7 billion. We are not in a position to change this to further limit when we're already a balanced budget on the backs of very many other things. This makes no sense whatsoever. I'm just trying to get my head around how this could make any sense to anybody. Please tell me.
Representative, you're my dear friend, and
Yes.
I appreciate so much that your passion on the issue. I just respectfully disagree. The reality is, again, that, in my opinion, we've had nothing but conservative budgets in recent memory, in my time in the legislature and so forth.
Yes.
I'm proud of the conservative budgets that we put forward. So no argument there for me at all. And I'm very proud and appreciative of all the work that everyone in this room has done. I understand the sacrifice and the time and commitment that's been made, and I'm very grateful, as are all Texans. I just believe that going forward, that we need to continue to maintain this discipline, this focus on fiscal discipline.
What's keeping us from doing that?
Well, the concern is when we're not here, Donna, that's my perspective, Representative, is that when we're not here, what happens down the line? And that's the reason why I like to be able to make certain that Texas maintains its commitment to fiscal discipline.
But the ones we have in place are already doing that.
I understand, but my view is that it's not doing it adequately. And we can do better.
And that's not a criticism of the current budget, because the current budget actually would meet all of the proposed standards that are being offered. So I agree with Chairman Parker. This is a look forward. This is not a critique of the work that this committee
But it's creating,
done.
Is it not, Representative Bonin, more inflexibility with a budget that we have very little discretion over anyway.
I think it's taking a metric that is more volatile and difficult to measure and replacing it with one that is much more easy to predict and is more accurate.
Again, I know you're saying you're looking forward instead of backwards, but that has not been an issue. We have conservative budgets. We have constraints on us right now. This makes no sense, and I appreciate y'all trying to give some kind of rational reason for it, but I haven't heard any of that yet, so thank you.